And today we're delighted to have our grand opening, Skye Galaxy. Hey, Skye.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going great. It's going really, really well so far. Skye's been performing in the Second Life for about a decade, yeah?
Yeah, it feels like it's been a lot longer, but I don't even know what my avatar age is, but I think I joined the music scene about a year into when I started playing Second Life, so it's been a minute.
It has been a minute, and I think I can say confidently that you started becoming a fan favorite shortly after your first set. I checked your group today, and there's over 2,700 people in your group, so there's a lot of folks very interested. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, I know. I went to a party on Friday hoping I could celebrate St. Patty's, but they didn't have green beer or anything, so I was really very disappointed.
I don't think I could drink green beer. You don't drink beer, do you, Rara?
I don't drink. I'm not a very good Australian.
You know, you're not at all.
No. I announced that at a function the other day and everyone looked at me like I should be drummed out of the country.
Do you have any Irish in your ancestry, Skye?
I do. That's most of my ancestry is going to be that, just my first name being spelled the way it is, Sean, Sean. People ask that a lot, but it's definitely a thing. I don't really celebrate with family or anything on the day. I just tend to go to functions with my coworkers and be the responsible one who leaves early so I can play music the next morning.
Right. Oh, well, we're sorry we cut your festivities short.
No, it's all right. Totally good.
You started playing about 10 years ago, but then after a while you took a break.
I did. I decided that pursuing something of a real life kind of venture was on the calendar, and I had to concentrate fully on that. And if I'm being honest, like a lot of kind of Second Life oriented drama that was surrounding me. I think at the time it was back when even colleges and like businesses had their hand in the game, so it was a pretty busy and active world. You get a handful, and I'm sure you guys can attest to this. It's interesting to have some people take it far too seriously, and that kind of turned me away from the scene for a while. But Lo, my manager, who's been my manager for eons now, is a great example of somebody who doesn't take things too seriously and makes everything fun. So I've had to just focus on those types of personalities, and I decided to come back. So I did take a break, but it was a good one.
Oh, we're glad you're back. What made you come back?
So Second Life is a platform that I've been interested in for the sole purpose of being able to experiment. It's not only great practice in between recording sessions, but it's a way to try out new material and get real-time feedback from people. And I missed that for a while and decided to take another stab at it.
Do you find it offers some inspiration for you?
I do. I actually get excited still every time I have a show planned because the people here are fantastic. I mean, I don't get invited to much parties on here, which I'm kind of bummed about, but I think they think I'm too busy or something.
Okay, well, you will now.
Yeah. Please invite me. Please. I'm so lonely.
I think this is how the trouble started the first time. Rara's a mom, and she gets so excited when she hears you talk about your mom. Is she a big inspiration in your life?
Oh, yeah. I've got videos that even she recorded. I was actually showing them to Dextra the other day of just her teaching me how to play piano. I was only about 2.5, maybe 3 years old.
Wow.
And she, it wasn't anything like high level. It was probably Mary Had a Little Lamb, but it was something to my first little synthesizer that she bought me, this little, $20 Target kind of thing with little animal sounds and stuff. But it was one of my favorite videos just because she did that through my whole life, I think. And I remember her singing to me from a young age as well. So she's been a huge inspiration. In fact, I have her on speed dial for when my show starts so that she can jump in and listen to me play because that's her favorite part of the week.
That's awesome.
That was actually going to be one of my questions.
I think that my earliest memory, I have a video of me singing an Amy Grant song, Baby Baby, and I had this little karaoke machine that I would run around the house with when I was probably 3 years old. And this thing was so obnoxious. I feel so sorry for my parents having to listen to me scream into the little microphone and with the fake reverb and everything, and just run around the house singing my favorite pop tunes of the day. So I think I got my first guitar when I was 7, and I actually am a much better guitar player than I am a piano player. I think piano came later because I wanted to learn how to program music on my own. I remember from like a young age of maybe 11 or 12, my mom was my manager, quote unquote, and she was taking me around to coffee shops and getting me signed up for like wedding gigs and things to sing for the masses of Northern Dallas. So
How come you don't play guitar in World?
that's a great question. And if I am being honest, it's because I don't know what's wrong with it. I need to take it to get fixed. It's something wrong with the pickup, or it could honestly just be out of batteries. I have no idea. I've thought about taking it to somebody and actually getting that tested out, and so I could start playing a little bit in World.
That'd be awesome. We would love to hear that.
Yes, please.
Sure.
Absolutely.
We were talking about your inspirations earlier, and rumor has it that you're a big fan of Lil Bub.
I am. God, that cat. I've got pictures and calendars and socks, and Little Bub, for those of you who don't know, is a very inspirational cat that's on the interwebs. And I think that I just love Little Bub because it's like a testament to it doesn't matter what's wrong with you. People will love you, and if you're just your genuine self. And Little Bub is my little hero, that's for sure.
Were you in Austin when Grumpy Cat was there at South by Southwest?
I was. I didn't actually get to go down there. I'm a horrible Austinite. I've never been to a South by or a ACL festival, just because I tend to avert from the crowd. It's always a challenge to get downtown even during those times. But I remember them coming to town, and I was like, oh my God, that would be so much fun to just go see them and be able to pet them or something. I don't know.
I'm sure we share a bunch of people on our friends list, like Mimi out there. Beautiful Mimi. Hello, Mimi. But one in particular I wanted to ask you about is Bryn O. Bryn's not a musician. If you don't know, Bryn's an amazing artist. I feel like you have a special connection with Bryn and her art. Tell us a little bit about that.
And I was humbled that, and it probably sounds familiar to a lot of people, because even though it's just Second Life, right? And I say that with a light touch on the just, but it's a place to meet people who can inspire you. And I've been humbled myself to have people who say that the music that I play can mean quite a bit to them, even if it's just a quick 1-hour show on a weekend sometime. But Bryn is one of those people that when I first started playing and I discovered her art, I would hang out there all the time and just explore. And it was like, if I had a VR headset back then, and I still don't now, but that would be the first thing that I would have wanted to go back and just re-experience and immerse myself in immersive. So Bryn is I think we're friends. I don't know. I think that I can call her a friend. She's definitely let me crash her sim at random times when I want to play, and I always am just so excited when she has a new installment, because I think it really allows people to experience what I experienced when I was first playing, and seeing what can be done and the emotions that can be evoked from just artwork. It's a really powerful thing for a digital media platform to have that effect on people, and I think that Bryn is a crusader of that feeling.
She absolutely is. She's a remarkable storyteller. If you haven't seen Bryn's work.
She's also just confirmed that you are indeed friends.
Oh, okay, good.
Okay. Social awkwardness avoided. Do you have some questions from people?
I have one question from the crowd. There's 80-something people here, and I've only got one question. But, let's go for it.
Okay.
Elspeth Squishy Pruitt would like to know, what is your favourite guilty pleasure song that you sing in the shower or the car? And songs that you would never sing in public, but you secretly love.
So there's one thing you should know about me. I'm never afraid to sing in public. Even if it's just for the laughs or just to let people know what my personality's like, I'll never say, "Oh, I can't play that in front of people." I've definitely had songs with tons of profanities, and then some that, I sing Britney Spears songs all the time, and just whatever I can get my hands on. If it's a good song, that's kind of my theory, is that it's worth it's worth sharing with people. But my guilty pleasure, man, when I was a kid, and I didn't really I hadn't really explored my orientation at the time, but I'm sure my father had some ideas. I used to play nonstop Britney Spears' first album, and while my brother was playing soccer out on the soccer fields with his team, my dad was the coach, and I would have to kind of bide my time somewhere else, and I would be on the playground just blasting this thing and making up dance moves and pretending that I was on stage. And I still do that today. I still pretend I'm in music videos with some songs that I love, but that's another story for another time. The thing I love singing in the shower is, God, what has it been most recently? I Want It That Way. I love that song. I'm probably going to sing that later.
I feel sure you are now.
Well, while we talk about things you're going to sing later, can you sing that song that you sang at Valium about the one you won at your wedding? I enjoyed that.
Yes. Yeah, the Smiths.
Yeah. Okay, I have another question. Lucifer Morningstar wants to know what inspired you to begin DJing, and what's the key difference between live singing and mixing live?
I think that I've always wanted to be a DJ in real life, and it's actually one of my other aspirations, if you will. The thing that I know immediately with the difference is that it doesn't feel less personal. I think that it's easier to connect with somebody when you're playing a live show and actually singing and performing that song, because it's really personal to you, right? It's a direct manifestation of something that it's in your head, and you're sharing it with somebody through something you're doing physically. And I think that DJing it's a bit less. It's a bit more difficult to connect with people on that level, because in a way some people have the opinion, oh, well, DJs are just, pressing a play button. Well, it's a bit more than that, and it's a lot of reading the crowd as well, and being able to not only share music that you love, but being able to do it in a way that keeps them excited, so that they don't feel like they're just listening to an iTunes playlist, right?
Yeah,
So
totally.
I think that what inspired me to start was just that, like I said, Second Life being that platform for being able to test out things, to experiment. I would like to do it in real life, and there are a lot of clubs around in Austin that I'm sure would be great venues to do that. And it's just another way to kind of practice and kind of see if it's something that I can do technically, and maybe take it to the real world someday soon.
That's awesome. I think we're going to wrap up. Do you have more questions?
Well,
or?
hang on.
Okay.
Lo is sending me a stream of questions that we're going to end with. But
Oh, dear.
before we get to them, Kaj, I think that's how you say that name, and if I'm saying it wrong, I'm so sorry. The worst thing about this performing in Second Life is pronouncing all these names. Kaj would like to know what was the inspiration to do the looping effects on Garbage's Number One Crush, because it's one of the most amazing covers Kaj has ever heard.
Aw, that's awesome.
Aww.
Yeah, that's a great compliment, first of all. But I used to do looping a lot more when I was at, like I said, those weddings or the coffee shops. I had a looping pedal that I would do maybe 50% of my 3-hour set on, where I was just making drum sounds with my guitar, putting in bass lines or harmonies, or I even had a tambourine that I would that I would use with my foot, and I felt like a one-man band for a little while, just trying to make all these sounds in real time. I try to do it more in Second Life. It's tough because the software that I'm using it's just a delay that I'm using, and it breaks most of the time. So I would love to do it more, but I honestly just need to find that pedal again and hook it up when I fix my guitar. That's what it needs to have.
Definitely.
It's a looping pedal.
It needs to happen.
But it's definitely fun, that's for sure.
I have to ask you Lo's list of ridiculous questions, and it says here that I have to make sure to tell you who these questions are from. So to be clear, these questions are from Lo Block. I'm going to read all of them. When you win your Grammy, what will you wear? And what kind of speech will you do? And would you add political content? And you don't have to say who asked the question. Yes, I do. Oh, and a better question, what would be your dream award?
Man, I'll answer it seriously just because I know Lo loves that, and she's done so much for me. In fact, if it wasn't for her, I probably wouldn't be doing this anymore because she kind of keeps me tied down and does all the scheduling and meets with people and does all of that for me. So without her, I don't think that I would exist right now in this game. I think the biggest award for me would just be, it's not really a tangible award. It's and yes, it would be fun to be on like an award show and do all that stuff, dress up. And some producers that I've worked with in the real world have actually just been back from the Grammys. So seeing their experience kind of made me a little jealous. But the biggest award for me would just be having the ability to send out that demo, right? That completed demo that you've spent maybe 2 or 3 years on, and then have a label come back to you and say, A, we love it, and B, let's make this a thing so that we can share it with everybody. I think that would be the biggest reward for me, is like finally obtaining that goal of mine and being able to share music with the world, or whoever will listen, really, inside and outside of this second world.
But thanks so much, Skye.
Thank you for being our first.
Yeah, absolutely.